In this session, we will be discussing about the different data types in Python: integer, floating point, and string data types. So what is a data type? Data type is a category for the values. So you have a number, let's say 2, or you have a string, let's say hello, or you have a number, some points, 2.0 points, 2.004. Now these are the values. So what is the type of this value? So that is represented by the data type. So in Python, the commonly used data types are integer, floating point numbers, and strings. Examples of integers are you can have positive as well as negative number as well as 0 without any decimal point. So minus 2, 1, minus 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. Floating point numbers will have numbers after the decimal point, like minus 1.334, minus 0.000, minus 3.3 or 1.3. And what are strings? Anything which is enclosed within quotes. So a, small a here, but it is enclosed between a co. You have double a here, which is enclosed. You also have some special character, exclamatory mark here, hello, exclamatory mark. Even that is a string because it is enclosed within quotes. You have numbers here, 11 space cats. Since it is enclosed within single quotes, this is also a string. So what is basically a string? It's an array of characters and has special 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 characters. You can have alphabets within it. So let's see some examples of these data types. So let's first see, let's try to type a string into our IDLE, that is our integrated learning environment. So suppose I want to print hello on the screen. So go to your IDLE shell, which I've shown in the previous session how to open it. Just click, after installing, just search for IDLE and the IDLE shell opens up. So here let's type, let's say hello. So what happens? Hello is printed on the screen. Now this hello was enclosed within quotes. So now the next question you may ask, can I use double quotes? Yes, you can use double quotes as well. Now the next question, what happens if I don't enclose within the quotes correctly? So I have the starting quote, but I don't have the ending quote. So what happens? It gives an error, which is, it says understandable, it says end of line while scanning string literal. So something is missing at the end. Can I just miss the starting quote? Yes, it's just saying invalid syntax. You can keep trying with various examples and see the errors and work on it. The next example, let's see about some of the operations which you can do on strings. Now, what is concatenation? Concatenation means combining of two things. So suppose I have a name, Alice and Bob. Now I want to put them together into one string. So how do you do it? Concatenation is a string concatenation operation, which is nothing but plus. Now plus can be used for addition, like we are doing here. For example, go to the ideal screen, just type 2 plus 2, it gives the answer as 4. Can I just use it with floating points numbers like this? Yes. So plus operator here is doing the operation of addition. Now the same plus operator can be used for strings to do replication of strings or concatenation of strings. So for example, if I have two strings, let's say I like, then use concatenation operation plus again, and within the string again write I like Python programming. So what happens here? See, I had given two strings. First string is I like and the second string is Python programming. I wanted to make it into one single line. So since I use a plus operator, you can see both the strings have been merged together. So this plus operator is behaving like a string concatenation operator. So this concept is called as operator overloading. What is operator overloading? When I can use the same operator for more than one function, we say that the operator is overloaded, or operator overloading function. In the sense, plus can be used as an addition operation when you use it for two integers or two floating point values. Plus can also be used with string, but doing a different function, that is concatenation. So please try this on your IDLE editor or MU editor and see how it works. Basically what's happening here, the two strings have been merged together and you made it into one single string. The expression here is I like plus Python programming is an expression. Now that has been evaluated into one single string variable, new string variable, which is called as I like Python programming. Now the next question is, can I use plus operator with one string and one integer? For example, I have used here 2 plus 2 where I've used plus with two integers. Here I've used integer and a floating point value, so I've used plus for integer and floating. In the third example, I have used plus for two strings. Now the next question is, can I use plus operator on a string and an integer value for something like this? Python is a string. Now let me give plus operator and put an integer value. Is this works? No, this doesn't work and is an error. You can only concatenate string and a string. You cannot concatenate string with an integer. Okay, so you try different examples and see how it works, but the rule is very simple. Plus operator can be used between two integers or two floating point values. Basically, it can be used for addition for two numeric values, and if you use plus for string, it does the concatenation operation. Simple rule. Now coming to the next concept, string replication. Now what is replication? Replication means duplication. So if you want to duplicate, for example, I want to type let's say Python 100 times. I want to display Python 100 times. So what do? Take the string, now use an asterisk operator, and how many times I want to display it? 100 times. So just type that. See, so many times I got Python. So here, which is a string concatenation operation? It is asterisk. So asterisk, as you already have seen, it's a multiplication operation. It behaves like a multiplication operation if you are using it with integers. For example, again here you, 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 again here you have the concept of overloading. Asterisk can be used for multiplication of two integers or floating point values. If you use the same asterisk operator for one string and one integer, it becomes a string replication operator. Example here, Alice is a string. I am using asterisk 5. So what does it do? Your asterisk acts like a replication. It replicates Alice the number of times you have mentioned in the integer. Now remember this rule, asterisk can only be used with two numeric values. If you use with two numeric values, integer or floating, it will do the multiplication operation. If you use asterisk for one string and one integer, it will do the string replication operation. These are the only two places where you can use the asterisk. Otherwise, any other place it will display an error. So any other place in the sense, can I use asterisk between two strings? Let's say Python asterisk, let's type programming. So here what I have done, I have tried to use asterisk between two strings. Python is a string, programming is a string. What's happening? You're getting an error. It is saying you cannot multiply sequence by non-int of type string. Now next, let's use string concatenation. Okay, let's try to use string concatenation with a floating point. Python is a string, use asterisk, let's use some floating point. 5.0, if you type 5.0, it becomes a floating point number. It's giving an error because I have to put Python with an integer, not an floating point. Okay, 5 is an integer, 5.0 is a floating point. So you can between two numeric values or one integer and one string value. You cannot use between two strings or a string and a floating point number. Simple. Okay, thank you.